I've got a fish on the line, but there won't be.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is Nick with F4 Outdoors. In previous videos, you guys have seen us do lobster diving in the Florida Keys. And since it is cold and not very nice here in northwest Indiana on the 2nd of May, I decided, what the heck, let's make a tickle stick for our next adventure down in the Keys. Why did I just make these? Why not? Just like to see if I can do things, if I can make something. It's always a little bit more fun when you can catch something or catch something with something that you made yourself. So, for these tickle sticks, what I decided to use is a piece of 1/4-inch round aluminum rod, 3 feet long, that I got from Menards. A piece of paracord about 34 inches long here. Any colors you want. I also got a 16-inch piece of latex tubing. And what we'll be doing is we'll be inserting our paracord through the tubing. And then we're also going to need a little clip here to keep everything in place. Some split rings. Yeah, I know these will get rusty, but they can be replaced. I want to put a lobster gauge on mine. This is a Florida spiny lobster gauge, 3 inches long. Right there, 3 inches. Go ahead and always make sure that you have the right size. So as you can see, these are a little bit bigger than 3 inches, but that's okay. It's better to have a spiny lobster that's a little too big than too small. We're also going to need some type of handle material. Here's one of the finished products that I have. And I had decided to go with a cork handle. And I put some winding checks on there. The cork handles, they come in rings. Many different colors, different sizes, whatever suits your need. Some of these you can get on eBay, Amazon. I like to go to Mudhole Fishing. They have all the equipment that you need, all the materials that you would need to make your own custom rods, which is also another fun thing to do. And start a cork ring. You could take a 2x2, 1x1, drill a 1/4-inch hole through the center of it, round it out, put your rod through there. I've also been making some rods. This is EVA foam. It comes pre-drilled. The only problem is that of course it's a little too loose, but you could tape that up, make it a little bit bigger, slide it on there, glue it into place, and you're all set. That would kind of look like a pretty cool handle, pretty unique. EVA foam comes in a lot of different colors, solid colors. This is a purple grayish camo. This is a mahi color for our mahi rod we're going to do. Some of the tools that you're going to need: 1/4-inch drill bit. I also have a 7/64" drill bit here. Center punch. tape measure, some type of marking utensil. I also have some 60 grit sandpaper here, and then progressively smaller so that we can turn down our handle that we're going to make. The first thing that you're going to want to do, if you're going to make a handle out of, say, cork ring, is I'll take a paper plate like I did for the sandal here. I'll put my glue on the paper plate, and I'll take my cork ring, rub it around on the paper plate, get a nice coat of glue on there so I can start stacking my design the way I want it. Now I do a lot of rod building as well, so I have mandrels that I can put these on as I did here. And I also have the glues, the sandpapers, the mandrel wax, and so forth. So what I did is I already glued this one up. We have it drying on the mandrel. It's all ready to be turned. We'll show you that process here in a little bit. But first, what I want to do is we get a nice bend here. And that is for getting it into the nooks and crannies and crevices so you can get behind your lobster and tickle them out. So we want to put that nice little arc on there, that nice little bend in there. So, and that's about a 15 to 20 degree bend. You don't want a 45. It's just going to get hung up on things. So I have my grease pin marker here. I'm going to take my aluminum rod. I'm going to measure roughly 4 inches. And then I'm just going to take it to the edge of my workbench, as you can see right here. And I'm just going to bend that until I get to an angle that I like. So aluminum, nice and easy to work with. We're making 2 of these today. So I've already got this one marked out. I'm going to do the same thing with it. And there we have it. We got 2 that are about ready to go for our next step. So our next step as you can see here, we've got a little hole at the top to put our split ring on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my center punch. I'm going to mark roughly a 1/4 of an inch or so down from the top. And I'm going to put a mark. My center punch here. I'm going to turn some more light on here. There we go. We can see a little bit better now. Okay. I'm going to make a mark about 1/4 of an inch. And I'm using a center punch because this is round stock. And I really don't want my drill bit slipping on me. I'm going to take my 7/64 drill bit. And I am going to drill right through. Okay, so we got one. And we're going to get started on the other one here as soon as I can. See what I did here. Okay, so I have my 2 holes there. Actually, you can see that with that light behind me pretty good. 2 holes and my 2 pieces here. We can just set our round stock away. Set my drill off to the side. Do you have to use 1/4 inch aluminum rod? No, I've seen guys use all thread and just put some bends on it to make a handle. You don't have to get fancy. I just like doing things and seeing if I can do them. Seeing if I can't make them kind of interesting looking. We do have a trip for December for the Keys planned, and we also have a trip in the starts for next year for July, August. So figured, hey, let's make some tickle sticks, you know. So, but use your imagination. That's the great thing about fishing and making lures, rods. It's all about imagination. So what we're going to do now, though, is I am going to turn my handle that I have already set up and glued. Really, you don't need any fancy tools for this. I'm just going to use sandpaper. Even though I have a lathe, I do make some turkey calls and ink pins and other things on the lathe, but I'm going to use it to turn this handle. This handle is only about 5.5, 6 inches long. 5.5, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different cork rings on there. So if you want a bigger or smaller handle, obviously you can. I feel like that fits my hand pretty good. That's why I went with 5.5, 6 inches there. So we're going to get started on turning that. See what I'm doing here. As you can see, I got no long sleeves, no loose clothing, no jewelry. I got my safety glasses on. And I'm going to turn it on. And I'm just gonna start hogging off some materials here. Want to make sure everything's going to be nice and tight. And I've got a lot of rough edges. That's why I'm going with a 60 grit right now. I'll just go a little bit more here. Still pretty rough. Like I said, we're using the 60 just to hog off that material real quick. Okay. Now that we've hogged off a lot, we are going to, we've got a decent enough shape. If you want to put a bow in here to make it flared on the ends, you could. Do whatever you want there. I'm going to move to another grit here. And all I'm doing now is doing a little bit of shaping. Little bit of shaping and going for that nice cork feel. So that looks pretty good. Last grip. There you have it. We got a pretty nice looking, unique cork handle. So we're going to go ahead and take this off. We're going to set this off to the side now. I'm going to take one of the corks that I've already done. Drilled it through. And the reason you would want to use a 1/4 inch drill bit here, some of the cork handles, some of the cork rings don't have holes in them, so you're going to want to put a hole in your cork ring, of course. And this, I'm just reaming out the center. There's a lot of glue and other materials. You're going to need a 1/4 inch drill to put if you're using a piece of wood or whatnot. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cork handle I did here, and I'm going to slide it. I'm going to try to slide it in. Yes, it is a tight fit, but that's good. Your cork handle's not going to come off. Now, if you wanted to, you could put your winding checks on each end, glue them on. It's just the winding check is just a little transition between your cork handle, and then gives it a little unique design, whatever. Get those at mud hole fishing. So now that we got that on, I mean, we've got our, basically we got our tickle stick. But we're going to take our split ring. We're going to put it in the hole there. There you go. Boom. We've already got our latex tubing and everything, and paracord set up. So I'm going to take one end out, stick it through my split ring there, take my two ends of the paracord, and I am going to in there. Now one of these ends of the paracord I want to leave short. The other one I want long. And I'll show you why here in a minute. Try a little something else here. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, it worked out a little bit better. If I just take one end of my paracord, leave it short, stick both ends in, one and two, hopefully two. There we go. Okay. The section of paracord that isn't covered in the latex tubing, we're going to want to pull that all the way to the latex tubing there. There you go. Just like so. I'm going to take my lobster gauge. You need to have these. Always better to be safe. Don't want to get caught without one. Don't want to get caught with undersized lobsters. Take my lobster gauge, which I got at Amazon. Any dive stores down in the Keys, any diving websites, you can find these. Make sure that you get the gauge for where you're at. So if you're fishing spiny lobsters in Florida, get yourself the gauge that belongs to that area. And always consult your regulations on what sizes everything needs to be. So I'm going to take my lobster gauge and I'm just going to tie it to the end of my paracord there. So now I can put my hand through the handle here. I've got my tickle stick. I've got my gauge. Catch a lobster. Drop my tickle stick. So I got it secured to my hand. Reach down, grab my gauge. I can measure them, let them go, throw them in the boat, in the live well, whatnot, and you're all set. So, like I said, I wanted to see if I could make them. I like making custom things, unique things. Do you have to do this? No, you can buy these kits and everything. You can buy your nets and your tickle sticks when you get down there to the Keys or wherever you might be lobstering. But just something to do in the wintertime, in the cold months when you're thinking about the warm, hot sun. The only other thing that you could really do with this, if you wanted to, is if you could put some decorative wrapping on it. You could paint them up if you wanted to. Even though it's cork handle, they really don't float. They might float up just a little bit. You could put some cork sealer on here. But other than that, you've got a nice, complete tickle stick. I think I've made 8 of these. The longest part is, for me, is gluing my handles together, gluing all the cork rings. I only have one mandrel, so I can only do one at a time. But showed one of the guys that I go lobstering with, and he's like, man, that's actually kind of cool. I like that. So made a bunch, hand them out to the guys that we go with. The only thing better than making them is going to be using them, and then having a nice lobster cookout sitting on the beach. But until that time, thanks for tuning in again. And remember, adventure's always right outside your front door. Thanks.